and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm new too. This is my very first video, so we're exploring together. And if you're not new here, thank you for coming back to watch the first video again. I really do appreciate it, and I'm glad that you like my personality enough to come visit again. So today I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie tag, which yes is very common, but I also think it's just a really great introduction to both me and why I decided to do this Booktube thing. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Excuse me if I'm looking over constantly. I have my computer over here. I don't have really a lot of space in here to set it up so I can just quickly glance at things. So there's a disclaimer there. But the first question is, why did you start this channel? And the reason I started this channel is because I really wanted to join the Booktube community. I recently found it, as in like within the past few months found it. I haven't really been on YouTube in the sense of being able to do much in a while, because again, I am a recent graduate, so I watch things, but like in the most casual of ways. But now I do have time, so but I found Booktube, and as someone who does really love reading and who has finally enough time to do that now that I'm not stressing myself out over exams and stuff, I'm really happy to get back into it. And when I say that I'm a recent graduate, I mean it's coming on a year now, but I've just now like gotten my life together enough that it feels like I'm out of university. Does that make sense? I think it does. We're gonna go with it. On to the next question, which is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I don't know that I have anything fun or unique. I'm here. I have no expectations of this channel. I just wanted to do it, and hopefully I could get some kind of interaction with others, and we could have a nice conversation about the books in the comments below. So that's about it. But I mean, as far as uniqueness goes, I guess maybe my personality, because as far as I know, I'm the only me out here, so I've got the only one of my personality, so yay. And then it says, the next one is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I am excited to rant about all the books I love. So I, again, finally have time to read on a more regular basis. So that's great. But also, when I finish a book, or when I'm starting a book, or when I get a book and I'm just excited about it, all I can do is rant at my friends, which is great, don't get me wrong, but most of them are at university still. A lot of them went on to grad school, and then also my other friends are just out of state, so and they work, because that's what you do. So I can't always sync up with them all the time, which makes it really hard to rant at them as much as I'd like, especially when I've got a good 15-minute rant about how much I love this book, and they're like, actually I was in the middle of running errands. So mostly for me to rant, but also because I like to hear other people talk about things, so to have, again, that discussion and listen to other people's opinions about books I may or may not love, get some recommendations, those kinds of things. Also, I have a lot of free time on my hands these days. I work 9 to 5 during the weekdays, so that weekends these days are pretty open. All I do is buy plants and buy books, so might as well share those with others. The next one is, why do you love reading? Not gonna lie, I'm really in it for the escapism. I love a good book that takes you out of yourself. And I don't care how it takes you out of yourself, but I just feel like if I wanted to be in the real world, I'd go outside. I do occasionally, like, to go to the store and to like walk around parks, and hiking's fun, but you get the point. I really like the escapism. I really like to see, and I love just world building. World building is my shiz. I love world building. I love when authors create their own magic systems, or their own technological systems, their own political systems that just kind of make it other from what we have right here, and gets me going. And I think that answered that question. Next one is, what book or series got you into reading? If we're talking originally, Then what got me into reading when I was younger is definitely the Newbie Jones series. I don't know if anyone knows that. I can barely remember anything about it, but I remember like devouring that entire series. I was also really into Babysitter's Club. Again, can't remember anything about it, but I remember reading it. Um, so those are things. If I'm and more recently, what got me into back into reading, well, one time again, but also while I was in school, since I couldn't read, I ended up listening to a lot of podcasts because I hadn't quite gotten on the audiobook train just yet. But so I listened to a lot of podcasts, and the Welcome to Night Vale podcast has been one of my favorites. Please ignore the lipstick. I was testing out which one I liked the best. But the Welcome to Night Vale podcast has been the one that really hooked me into the podcasting scene. And then I heard they had a book coming out, so I bought that book, and I have their transcript book, and I have their second book. So those ones are the ones that really got me back into it. And those were the Night Vale novel was actually the first one I've read this year, and my goal this year, because I'm just gonna say it in the middle of this video, why not, is to read my entire bookshelf, which is actually pretty small these days, but I want to read the entire thing by the end of the year, including the ones I add to it, which is making my life a little difficult, but we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to keep going. But yeah, so Night Vale. It got me back into it more recently. And then the next question is, what would you ask your favorite booktubers? So first, I think it's important to tell you who my favorite booktubers are right now. I really like Read with Sydney. I like Books&Lala, and I also like, what is her full? Read with Emily Fox. Read with Emily Fox. Sorry. Hi guys. So I was literally just in the process of editing that video to put up, and I realized that I called Emily Fox's booktube channel I called it Read with Emily Fox, but it's actually Books with Emily Fox. So just wanted to clarify that before anyone gets down to the comments and is like, oh my god, you get it wrong. I noticed. My nerves are bad, okay? This is my very first video in my life. Cut me some slack. But either way, I'm going to put the correct addresses for all three of their channels down below. So go ahead and check that out and go look at theirs. I know they're pretty popular already, so most of you already heard of them. But for those of you who just stumbled across this place like I did a few months ago, those three are great. There's quite a few others as well. So have fun. But anyways, so those are my top three that I really enjoy right now. I really like Cindy because she's just very here. She is the one who actually got me interested in doing Booktube, because I saw that she was just recording on her phone, which is what I'm doing right now, and she didn't have this huge production, and I was like, oh my god, so if she could do it, I could definitely do it. I like Books&Lala because I think she is incredibly creative, and I think that the way she integrates reading into her life, but she doesn't stress herself out about it, A+. And then I love watching Emily Fox because her opinions really mirror a lot of mine when it comes to like sci-fi and fantasy, and when it comes to romance in any genre. So it's really nice to watch someone who has a similar opinion to me. So those are that's a little backstory to the booktubers I enjoy following. And what would I ask them? I don't know if I have any questions per se, because I'm not really a tell me your life story kind of person, and I prefer to make my own mistakes as I go through things, and so advice is always welcomed, but I rarely ask for it, which might be a character flaw, but we're not going to talk about it. But I guess I would just ask them about what their favorite books are, which I know they have videos on, but I feel like in videos you don't have the time to like put out the full 30-minute essay that everyone has in their head about why their favorite book is the best. So maybe like get that whole thing, or just, you know, have a discussion about any kind of book, because I feel like I just want to understand their point of views better. So I think that answered that question, but I could be wrong. So on to the next question. It is, what challenges do you think starting a book channel will be the hardest to overcome? Consistency. I'm going to be honest, I think my biggest challenge is going to be consistency, because I am a chronic procrastinator. It's bad. It's really bad. Which is why, after I'm done with this video, I'm going to film, at least in part, my May TBR, because I know if I don't do it same day, I'm not going to do it at all. So, my procrastination is going to be one of the biggest ones, so consistency is going to be huge. But also, I think just the nervousness around putting my face out there and, you know, opening myself up to criticism, because one, we all get it. It's fine. I'm not mad about that. But I also know that the YouTube comments can be a little brutal, and it's not even going to be over something important. It's going to be like I accidentally say something mean about someone's favorite character in a book that I don't even care about, and they're going to be like, oh my freaking god, you're going to die, bam, bam, bam. So, you know, that's going to be a challenge, dealing with people who are overly sensitive about books they happen to like or dislike. Yeah, that's going to be it. Please don't be too sensitive if you could decide to stay around. And let's see the next. When did you start reading? Like, in general? Like, just when in my life did I start reading? When I was a child, like really young. My mom and I used to read like picture books together, because reading with your family is fun. But also, I guess by myself, probably in the 1st or 2nd grade. I'm an only child, so I had a lot of time on my hands to read. And so once I went to school, I spent a lot of my time reading there too. And it was good. It was great. I made friends, of course, and I made friends with people who read. I made friends who didn't like to read. It was all great. And then as I got older, I could go to the library by myself, so I'd walk up there with my cute little wagon. I had a little wagon. It was green and red, made of plastic. I don't know where it went, but I had it. And I'd take it with me to the library, pile it full of books, bring it back home, read during the summer all the time. I also became friends with like my librarians at my schools whenever I was at school, and to the point where I once had a librarian who let me borrow their personal books. So, you know, I've really always been into reading, but more recently, when did I start reading? I started reading back at the beginning of 2019. Because I finally sat down and looked. I was like, okay, I've moved into a new place. I've moved back home to my home state. I've got a job. I've got this. I hang out with my friends when I can. What else do I want to do on my weekends? Oh, I have time again, and I have a bookshelf of books over there. Maybe I should do something about that. So, I got back into reading on January 1st. Where do I read is the next question. Where do you read? I read a lot of places. Mostly, if I'm going to like get a good read in, like a weekend, sitting down and just devouring a book kind of thing, on my couch. I move from my bed area to my couch area because I'm in a studio. So just move over to my couch, turn on my TV because I love a good background noise, because it's great. So I turn on my background noise. Either I'll turn on Spotify and listen to my playlist, which Dermot Kennedy and Hauser are really great to read to. Hey, hey. Or I'll put on like some ambient sounds, some rain. You know, just get into that relaxing mood. Or I'll put on a YouTube video because sometimes I want to glance up and pay attention to it. Multitasking, it's an issue. But yeah, so my main area to read is always going to be on my couch if I'm like going to do a good read. For audiobooks, it's typically on my commute or at the office, because I work in an office, and while I do have to talk to people on the phone, it's not a consistent thing, so usually I can get 1 or 2 hours in a day during an 8-hour day to listen to an audiobook. Or if I'm cleaning, I'll turn on an audiobook. I'll just put it into my speakers and have that play while I'm cleaning or doing other things around the house. And if I'm tired, I just take myself, lay down in bed, and I'll either listen to, again, that audiobook, or I will read a book that I don't mind falling asleep in, because it's either distinctive enough that I'm going to remember my spot, or I don't mind losing that spot. So mostly I read inside my home. Occasionally I will read outside of the home, but I genuinely prefer to be at home most of my time. So that's what I do. The next question is, what kind of books do you like to read? I am a big fan of sci-fi and fantasy. They're my 2 favorite genres, especially if you somehow mix those 2 together. Ooh, stop me now. I also like a, what is it? It's not realistic. Magical realism. I really enjoy magical realism. Like, bring magic into my day-to-day life. Oh, the light's shifting. So it's not gonna look the same throughout the whole video, but who cares? You stayed around this long. You're 14 minutes into it. Sit down. But yeah, so I really enjoy magical realism. Let's see what else. I like a good science book. Like, I finished one that was just not an anthology, but just like a random assortment of information about different organisms throughout the world, like plants to funguses to insects to arachnids. It was great. I enjoyed it a lot. One of my next books is going to be about freaking. I speak words. I promise you, I do speak words in an actual language. But one of my next books is going to be about diseases. I like science books. I'm not going to use this information at all. I like sociology books because I like to just see about how groups of people work together. And also, one of my other favorites, I like pop culture and philosophy. And this is a very specific genre of book that I enjoy. And there's an entire series, not all done by the same company, not all done by the same authors. But it's like blank in philosophy, blank in philosophy, though I have one blank in psychology, but those I just enjoy because I love relating intellectual pursuits that most people think are like very pretentious and like you just can't understand. I really like relating those to pop culture because I feel like that's the way most of us digest these ideas, and so it's really interesting to me. It looks like that is the end of the questions. So I guess this is going to be the end of my video. I'm going to go ahead and sit and film my May TBR, which I'm really excited for because I'm going to be participating in the Asian Readathon hosted by Read with City and 3 others. I think I'm going to look it up before I start filming that just to make sure I get all the information correct. But yeah, so that'll be going up a few days after this one, so if you're interested, please be looking out for it, and I will see you in that video. Bye!